what does a backing by a VC actually means in regard to Canada's startup? Because a VC could fund to any other business apart from the Canada startup ecosystem. Am I correct? Correct me.
Absolutely.
So, how does it mean? What is the main role of VC in terms of the funding in Canada startup specifically?
Yeah, I think the main and key factor would be if these businesses are qualified to us, and if all these criteria are met, then we would issue the letter of support to the government of Canada, asking that the government that we would like to support these entrepreneurs. And I think the biggest difference between any other programs than startup programs is these individuals can apply for their permanent residency.
Oh, okay. That is the main differentiator.
Which is a main factor, because a lot of these individuals, they like to move to Canada and live there. And rightfully so, because when you establish a business anywhere, you have to make sure you stay there and oversee the operation. And I think that programs enable us as the VC to be able to back these individuals, to be able to sponsor them, support them, as well as these individuals to be able to live in Canada in a long-term basis, and they get their permanency residence.
Okay. So how do financial services firms support Canada's startup businesses and their growth in Canada?
I think the first step would be the funding, and that's why there's that minimum of 200,000 that has been enforced by the government of Canada to be able to financially sponsor these individuals. However, as I mentioned earlier, I think the biggest differences between a VC and any type of other investment company is the experience, the wealth of experience that a VC has to be able to allocate and help. For example, I'll give you an example. Hiring the right individuals, employees in a company, because that's a key factor, as well as assigning a right path, right, to these companies, CEOs, to be able to understand the business better and to be able to succeed faster and have that growth. So I think that would be the main key factor in my mind for any VC supporting these individuals.
Okay, so that support for being successful as a business, not just for funding, for settlement, and many other factors which you touch based. How can small companies leverage these investment-based programs to expand their operation in Canada?
One of the challenges that I have seen with the small to medium-sized firms is the lack of resources, mainly financially. As I mentioned earlier, Canada is one of the leading countries when it comes to sponsoring these startups. There are a number of grants available that have been designated by the Government of Canada funding organizations to be able to support and help these individuals. These mainly are non-dilutive assistance that, for instance, as the owner and the founder of company, they don't have to, give up their own, ownership of the company. However, being able to, deploy and more funds into these projects, which is very vital, especially at the beginning of stages. So there are very number of programs that are available to assist these entrepreneurs. However, having a VC-backed company would definitely bring that credibility for these entrepreneurs, and which is a main factor.
That's great. So what are the main promising sectors do you see in Canada and could potentially benefit new applicants who are planning to go under the Canada Startup Program?
Yeah, I think, not just in Canada, I would say generally in the world right now, a lot of tech companies with an AI capabilities are now leading in every aspect, industries. So I would say, I think any tech related ideas, innovations would be very attractive. And in my mind, I think would have a better chance of succeeding in the Canadian market.
So specifically a tech-based business with right business innovation and with right experienced team would be an ideal sector in Canada right now? Any
Absolutely.
other, apart from the tech-based business, or it could be a tech-based in any other industry, or it has to be purely tech?
No, it's a good question. I think what I was referring to, tech-based ideas in any industry would
Oh,
now be very desirable.
uh-huh,
However, we like the VC job is not really dictating or choosing any specific industry. For us, is
uh-huh,
the idea, the innovation
uh-huh,
in the Canadian market. This is
uh-huh,
what we look at. So in my mind, I think as long as it's the right idea, has the right, I think it's just not the idea, the team behind this would also be a main
oh, very
factor.
important.
Typically for these startups, they have different few founders, few team members that are very vital in
Mhm,
running the operation,
mhm.
and that's what we always look at. Not just the idea, the team behind this idea is as well.
So that means, to be specific, if I may ask this question, that while you're deciding on funding on any project, or for say finally giving them a little later support, with that later support, you will take them through the interview process of
Yes.
these founders, the team who are behind this idea and the project.
Absolutely. We look at their business plan, both short term and the long term prosperous, as
Uh-huh,
well as the team members that have been working and supporting the business, right?
uh-huh.
Typically, it takes a number of individuals, right-minded individuals, to be able to establish a business
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah.
And I think we definitely look at the team members and how experienced they are, their background, which is very crucial running a business as well, right? So